Hi everyone! Today you're going to see how to use our plugin YITH Point of Sale for WooCommerce. With this plugin, you can turn your WooCommerce installation into an easy-to-use register for any type of store or business. We're going to show you how to configure everything from scratch and how the POS system works by processing an order. Before we get into it, let me remind you that we list the links to the plugin, the documentation, and the live demo below, so you can go ahead and check it out and test the plugin. Now, let's get to it. Once the plugin is activated on our site, we can start configuring it. Let's go to YITH, Point of Sale, and we will find 6 different tabs here. In the first tab, Dashboard, we can find a report about all the orders and sales that were processed through the POS screen. You can see how many orders were placed, total sales, net sales, average order value, average items per order, items, customers, and coupons. We can filter by date here by selecting one of these preset ranges like today, month to date, year to date, and so on. Or you can enter a custom date and just select the dates from the calendar and decide to compare this to the previous year or to the previous period. You can also filter by store by selecting any of the stores you have already created. And if you select a store, you can also filter by register. And you can compare these statistics thanks to this chart right here. Here you can decide if you want to make it a line chart or a bar chart. For example, right now we're comparing month to date, so that's from April 1st till today, the 27th, and the same period last year, which is the one in green. Now below this, you're going to find a summary of the sales by payment method and the top cashiers with the number of orders they processed through the POS screen and their net sales. Now let's move on to the Stores tab. Here's where you can create and configure one or more stores to use on the POS system. I already have some stores created, as you can see here, but if you don't have any stores yet or you want to add a new one, you can just click here on Add New Store and you're going to find 4 different steps. The first one is the store info. Here's where you have to enter the store details like store name, bot number, address, country, and so on. I'm going to enter a name here. For example, let's proceed to step 2. This is the employees step. Here's where you can add employees to your store with 2 different roles. You can add the managers that will manage all registers, and then cashiers that can be assigned to each register. So you can add the managers here. You can also create a new manager from scratch. You can also add the cashiers here or create new ones. And we're going to proceed to step 3. This is the register step. This is where you can configure all the registers that are available for this store. Each register can have a different configuration. Let's just name this one Register 1. You can enable the option to scan barcodes, so the cashier can scan barcodes in this register. You can select the payment methods available based on what you have configured on the site. For this plugin, you have direct bank transfer, check payments, cash on delivery, etc. You can also select the products to show. You can show all products, or you can choose specific products or categories to show. Here you can choose to include or exclude categories and to include or exclude products. We're going to leave this one selected. You can also choose to show the categories and the products of each category in the register dashboard, or to just show the products without categories. You can also make sure that the register is visible to all users or hidden or shown to specific cashiers. You can select a receipt. We're going to see how to create one in just a few minutes. And you can also choose to enable the closing report so that the cashier sees a final report before closing the register, and the final notes so that the cashier can add any notes before closing the register. Now we have to click on Create to create the register, and we're going to proceed to step number 4. So step number 4 is just a summary of everything we have added. We can simply save store to finally create the store. Great, so now that the store is created, we can see it here. You can see the store name, the employees, managers and cashiers, the registers. You can enable or disable it like this. It's that easy. Let's enable it again. You can edit the store, delete it permanently, or show registers. You can also move the stores to trash or filter by enabled status. And you can also search stores here. There we go. Now let's move on to the registers tab. You're going to find two subtabs here, all registers and register sessions. And the first one, all registers, you can manage all the registers from all the stores. You can see the names, the stores they were created for, the info, whether they have a receipt or none at all, the status of the register, they can be either opened or closed, and whether they are enabled or not. You can also, of course, edit each register by clicking here, delete each register by clicking here, or open it by clicking here. You also have the option to move all of them to trash, filter by store, filter by status, and search for specific registers. Then in the Register Sessions subtab, we're going to find, as you can guess, the register sessions. You're going to find them by ID with the store name, the register, the opening time, the closing time, and the total sales made during each session. You can also click here to view the details and here to download the report. For example, if I click here, I can see all of the details, the opening time, closing time, the cashier, how much cash there was in hand, how many orders, products, and other details. We can also add a note here only if the session has already been closed and download the reports here. Now let's move on to the following tab, Receipts. Here you can create the receipts. Each register can have its own receipt. Let's see how to create one. You're going to click here on Add New Receipt. And first we're going to find the general settings. You have to enter the receipt name. This is just to identify the receipt template. You can choose to enable a gift receipt, so cashiers don't just see the print receipt button, but also a print gift receipt option in case the purchase is a gift for someone else. You can choose if you want to show the product's SKU in the receipt. Let's move on to receipt header. Here's where you'll configure the upper section of the receipt. Here you can add a logo, decide if you want to show or hide the store name in the receipt, whether you want to show the VAT or not. You can edit the VAT label, decide if you want to show or hide the address, contact info, and socials. Then in the order info section, you can decide to show or hide the order date. You also have some labels you can edit here. And you can also decide if you want to show the order number, the customer name, shipping details, and more. And you also have the receipt footer. You can choose what text to show there. For example, here it's thanks for your purchase. And here to the right, we have a preview of the receipt we're creating. And here's the footer text, thanks for your purchase. Now we're going to save. There we go. Congrats, you have just created your receipt, electronic store receipt. Back, and you can see it right here. You can also use these bulk actions to edit or move to trash some of these receipts or all of them. And you can also edit the individual receipts by clicking here or delete each one by clicking here. You can see which register is using each receipt here. And then we have the customization tab. Here's where you can customize the post screen settings. For example, you can enable a sound effect whenever a product is added to the cart. You can choose to close pop-up windows when you click on the background. You can edit the VAT number label. You also have some options for the login page, like which page it's going to be used for that, the logo you want to use there, a background image, the background color. You also have the payment method settings here, so you can choose which payment methods are enabled globally for the POS system. As we have seen before, you can of course choose the payment method when you're creating or editing each register. Then you have some preset settings here. Stock management. You can show stock on register. And you can also enable multi-stock. This is a great option to manage and synchronize different stock per store, both physical and virtual. If you enable this, it is going to be applied to all of the products globally, but you must complete the setup at a product level. And you also have an option here to decide if products of a store are out of stock, whether they can be purchased without stock management, purchased from the general stock, or they can just not be purchased at all. I'm going to save these options to show you where you can complete the setup for this multi-stock option. Let's go to products and let's select this one, for example. If I scroll down to product data inventory and enable the option to manage stock level, I'm going to find this option, enable multi-stock in POS. I'm going to enable this. So the stock quantity here for the virtual store, it's going to be 10. So this is going to be only valid for customers placing the order on the website. Now, in the food store physical store, I'm going to set a stock of 6 units instead. So the registers in these stores are going to take into account this stock quantity, and orders placed in the virtual store are going to be related to this stock quantity. I'm going to update this and I'm going to go back to the plugin dashboard. And there's also a color setting section where you can customize some of the colors in the plugin. Let's go to the last tab, the Help tab. In this tab, you're going to find a link to the documentation so you can learn how the plugin works, how to configure everything. You have a link to the frequently asked questions in case you have any doubts about the plugin. And you have a button to request support from our developers in case you need it. Okay, before moving on, let me remind you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell down below so you get notifications every time we have a new video for you. Now, let's continue with the video. Now let's go over to the POS screen. This is the page that's created by default by the plugin. And this is what you would see if you're not logged in. I'm going to log in. Once you're logged in, you can choose the store and then the register. Keep in mind that managers and cashiers might have limited access to specific stores and registers, so here they're only going to see those stores and registers that they have been enabled to access. Let's choose a store and then a register. If there happens to be an open session on the register you selected, for example, another cashier is already logged in and using it, you'll see a message letting you know that it is already being used, so you can select a different register or take over. Let's open register. Now we're opening the register, so we're starting this session. Here you can enter how much cash you have in hand when you're opening the register. For example, let's enter 250. Here you can add or remove cash. I'm going to save, and you can access that option anytime from this menu by clicking here on Manage Cash. You have other options here to go back to the register screen to see the order history. Here you can see all the orders that were processed through this register. They're divided into dates, and you can see how many orders were placed. The order number, status, customer, total, and how many items were bought in each order. Back to register screen. You can also see today's profit and even close the register. And you can also click here to log out. Here you have the store name and the register. You can manage the store. This would send you to the backend. So if you're a cashier and you don't have access to the backend, you're not going to be able to do that. Here you can switch registers. Here with this bell icon, you can disable the sound effect. Here's a full screen option and the username that's currently logged in this register. You have the login time, the orders processed, the products, and the total sales. And you also have the option to download a CSV file with all this information. In this register, which is the register 1 in the food store, the products are shown with categories. So it's categories first and then products. We have the 6 different categories here. If the configuration here was to just show products, no categories, then we would see all products available in this store here, no categories to choose. We can just click here to see the products in this category. You can click on any of these products to add them to the cart. You can also look for products here by just typing in the name. There we go. You can also enable the barcodes option. to search for products with their barcode or their SKU. For example, let's go to the back end to see these product details. We can get the SKU here, or we can get into the edit page, scroll down to product data inventory, and we can copy the SKU here. Now let's go back to the POS screen. I'm going to take these products out, back. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to click here on scan product, and I'm going to enter that SKU. There we go. The product was added to the cart automatically. You can also use this plugin with YITH barcodes and QR codes, so you can automatically generate a barcode for each product and then just scan those barcodes here to add the products automatically to the cart. You can also add a new product here. You can sync it with WooCommerce, so it's also available in WooCommerce after you create it or just create it for this order. This option is only available for managers or admins. If a product is created on the fly by cashiers, then it will only be available for this order. The product won't be created in WooCommerce. You can add the product name, the price, the tag status, and the tax class, and you can then just create the product. You have a quantity selector here to add or remove items. You can edit the product price here. You can change it here. You can add a note. You also have the option to add a note here to this specific order. You can add a fee or a discount to the total order. Let's say I want to add a discount. It can be a fixed price or a percentage. Let's choose a percentage, and you can add any amount you want to. 10% for example, and here you have the amount with the 10% off. You can also add a reason here if you want to, it's optional. Update, you have it here. You can also apply a coupon, and you can add a shipping method. You have flat rate, free shipping or local pickup here, and a cost. If you happen to add shipping to the order, then the order is going to be marked as processing. If you do not add shipping to the order, it is going to be marked as completed once it is processed in this screen. You can also suspend and save the cart in case the customer forgot to get something else, so you don't have to wait for him to come back and you can keep using the POS screen with another customer. And you can also empty the cart with just one click here. Now when it comes to paying, you can enable any payment method that's compatible with your store. For example, here I have cash, direct bank transfer, check payments, cash on delivery, PayPal, and chip and pin. However, these must be processed manually. So when an order is placed, you must select the payment method here. Let's say chip and pin, enter the amount that they're paying. You can also add more payment options in case they want to split the payment. And you can click here on pay. Once you click on pay, you're going to be processing the order, and it is going to be marked as completed if you didn't add a shipping method. So you have to make sure to process the payment manually outside the POS screen, okay? So the customer in this case is going to have to give you their credit or debit card, and you have to process the payment in your own chip and pin machine. Before we process this order, I want to show you this option to assign the order to a guest user, to an existing customer, or create a new customer profile to assign the order to. For example, if you want to assign it to an existing customer, you just have to select this option and enter the customer. Or you can create a new customer profile here in the POS screen, and the information of course will be saved in your site. You can also enter different information for the shipping in case the order includes shipping. Okay, we're going to close here. We're going to make the payment. So this was $3.15 with the chip and pin method. Pay. There we go. These are the order details, and you're going to see the same thing on WooCommerce orders. This is the order number, the payment method used when it was placed, the status, who placed the order, if it was for a guest or a customer, the product, the discount with the reason, and here we have the total. You can print a receipt, or you can print a gift receipt in case it is a gift for someone else. If you click on print receipt, you're going to get the receipt here. You can save it as a PDF, for example, or print it. Let me go back. Once you're done with this session, you can just go here and close register. You're going to get this report with the opening and closing time, the cashier, the order, products, cash in hand, the payment method used, the net sales, total sales, and the cash total when closing the register. Remember, this was the cash in hand when we opened the register, and this payment was processed with the chip and PIN, so it does not change the amount of cash in hand. You can add any notes if you want to, download the report, and when you're done, just close the register. And that's it. That's how easy it is to use our point of sale plugin. Keep in mind you can read more about this configuration and how to use it in the plugin documentation, and go ahead and give it a try by just going into the live demo. You're going to find both links below in the description. Okay, so that's how the plugin works. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please remember to like this video and subscribe, and we'll meet again for our next video.